Welcome everybody to this, special, very special interview for me, interviewing two of the stars from this new Bong Joon Ho film called Parasite, that is, in my opinion, one of the best films of the year and should be nominated for Best Picture, not just Best Foreign Language Picture, Best Picture. The two people who are with me today are stars of the film, Kang Ho and Park So-dem. Welcome to Collider. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you both as well. I want to start and ask Song first. I want to ask you. You've worked with director Bong now on 4 films: Memories of Murder, The Host, Snowpiercer, and now Parasite. How has he changed as a director from when you worked with him in Memories of Murder to now with Parasite?
윤호 감독은
The first thing, his change is that he gained a lot of weight.
It's probably playing with his puppy. He just wants to sit around and play with his puppy. Park, I want to ask you, what was your process in creating the character of Kim Kyu-jung? Is this someone you knew or someone you've gotten to know or grew up with? Did you base that on her, or did you create something completely original from your own studying as an actor?
처음에 시나리오를 읽었을 때부터
From the first time that I read the scenario, I realized how all the lines felt very natural to me and everything was written as if it was my line that I wrote. To a point where I thought, I wonder if Dr. Bong already knew me and has been studying who I am as a person. I didn't feel like I had to memorize every single line because everything just made sense and came out very naturally in every scene. And I couldn't wait to start acting with everyone. I would say that Ki-jung and I are very quite similar person.
Oh, so you are sweet 1 minute and then ruthless the next. Is that correct?
거칠고 그런데
이건 나. 근데 사람은 뭐 모두가
I do
다
believe that
그런 모습.
any kind of person, anyone that you would meet, isn't just one-dimensional and they have multifaceted personality, not because they are people. And I believe there are multiple different situations and scenes where I was able to bring myself, but also play and show different side of Ki-jung that people love. So I think that's just how a person is and how a human is.
Song Kang Ho, the shoot was 76 days. What are some of the memorable moments you had on set shooting this film that made it different from some of the other films you've shot with Bong Joon Ho?
the rich family house was a set, as well as the poor family house. So in previous films with director Bong, I tend to act alone by myself. But for this film, I acted with all the other actors together. So we had a lot of ensemble scenes. So that was quite nice.
I've seen other interviews with you. You were very honored to work with Song Kang Ho and Bong Joon Ho. Was there anything that surprised you about working with them as an actor and director?
제가 정말
I truly
행운아라고
consider myself
느꼈던
lucky throughout the entire process of shooting because I was one of the very first people to witness amazing acting that Song Kang-ho does, and not everyone has to get that experience. So I was really thankful. I felt lucky and blessed, and I do feel like I learned a lot as a person, but also as an actor.
Song Kang Ho, I ask you, what excited you about the themes or the symbolism in the movie? Because obviously we have class warfare, rich versus poor, but also so much more happening beneath the surface on both sides. Did you find that so enriching to read when you were encountering the script?
저는 개인적으로
Personally, I think this piece is very ambitious one for director Bong Joon Ho. On the surface, this is a conflict between the rich and the poor. But in a larger picture, this accommodates the entire human race, the history of it. That we fight, and then we reconcile, and then we fight some more. So we're still struggling. I think the whole movie is trying to encompass the entire theme. Like that.
Oh, I like that answer. It's a very good answer. Park So-dem, you're a young actress. Yes, the themes, the symbolism in the movie speak to a larger picture, as Song was referencing here, more universal historical picture. What was it like for you to read the script and see all the twists and turns within it, but also what it has to say about us as human beings?
저는 정말
As I'm sure that you can relate, that as a human being, when we even within a day or within the hour, we don't just live with one emotion. There's always a constant change, and we don't just have one day where we're constantly happy from beginning to an end. And also, in a similar way, if I were to walk out that door, no one can predict what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. And I think that's the unforeseeable future, the volatility of how the life seems like is what director Bong was able to capture and illustrate within the film. And that allowed, that's where the richness of the film came from, I believe. And because of that, every scene felt more like just a regular life where I could just submerge and assimilate into rather than feel like I'm acting into one specific role.
I like that. That's great. Song Kang-ho, do you have any rituals before you get onto a set and perform a scene or a more emotional scene? Do you have anything that you go through for yourself that you and Bong Joon Ho kind of work out ahead of time?
뭐 저뿐만이 아니라
Well, not only me, other actors seem to have something like called jinx, you know. But well, think of me. Actually, no, I don't think I have any specific ritual that I go through before taking a scene.
Are there shades of your own father in the character you play in the movie? Do you reference from your own experience with your own father, you know, because he trying to raise this family in the situation that they're in?
다 일정 부분 다 그런
Probably
거니.
in certain parts. In general, our fathers, they always try very hard to raise their family, to provide for their family, but they struggle, and then their dreams and their efforts are not always paid back. So yeah, I think that's what I try to do.
I want to go back to you, Park. I'm doing some research on you. It says, I don't know if it's true, that you saw Grease and this made you want to become an actress. But you've done, you tried in numerous places and had to figure out how to get yourself in to be seen for things. And now you've got a career. How strong is your drive to be successful?
저는 정말 작업을
As
하면서 만나는
you would assume, every project I work in, I run into a lot of different people, and then not just actors and actresses, but all the staff that works in the entire big production of films, like such as Parasite. And for me, I tend to feed off positive energy, and that's what kind of keeps me going in order to move forward every day by day, scene by scene. Because of that, I always am very thankful to the actors and actresses and the staff that's involved in any kind of project I work with. To be honest, before I worked on Parasite, because I was still in the beginning stage of my career, that I wasn't able to see in the big picture of how a set is run and what it goes into it and how much work actually that goes into it. For me, it was more about just making sure I can do my job as an actress and just get that done well so that I'm not causing any more trouble to other people. But this time around, for some reason, I was able to see how much work that goes into it and how many people are running around to make before I'm standing in front of a camera, and how much work and effort and time has been put into that. So I'm always thankful to the people that allowed me to be able to be the best version of myself. And also I feel very lucky. And then also because of that, I feel like that's my motivation to do even better and to become even more successful is because of everything that they have done for me. And that only the best way for me to give back is by being better at what I do as an actor.
That sounds like a director. Do you have a favorite song from Grease?
이 남자
I think I'm a bit nervous. I can't think of the exact title where the group of the guys and the girls meet and then they sing that.
Summer Lovin'. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Summer Lovin'.
yes,
There we
yes,
go.
yes, yes.
Yes, I like that song too. Very good.
Yes.
I go back to you, Song. Why do you think Parasite has struck a nerve with so many people?
It describes Korean families. However, it's not. The situation is not just relevant in Korea. It's very common all around the world. So it's like, it feels like it's my story, it's my neighbor's story to any people. I think that's why it has this wide appealing.
Did you realize you were making something great, something different than maybe you've done before? Song, you've spoken in previous interviews how this feels like a more focused Bong Joon Ho, a more precise Bong Joon Ho. Did you realize that as you were making the film?
당연하죠.
Yes, of course. I cannot reveal the details, of course, because there are people who haven't seen the movie. But it's very dramatic, and just like when we experience all kinds of emotions while we are alive, right? We live like a joy, sadness, and anxiety, and all the other things. So this movie you can't really say this is a genre film. It's more like a combination of all different genres. It's like they tumble around in just every kind of genre is mixed in this film. So it's kind of very unique.
Did you realize that as well, that this was something completely new that you maybe haven't done before?
읽으면서
I believe that My first emotion was I was in awe when I was reading through the script, and that was because I noticed that because you see it's built around the two very basic core structure of a family of a mother, father, daughter, and a son, and there's two different family Kims and Parks, but just with those two small structure of family, it somehow portrayed and illustrated the life that we live in and the society that we're living in. I felt like it was a good epitome and good illustration of the current society that we're in this time, and felt also when I was acting that it wouldn't be something that's limited to a Korean culture and Korean audience, but more a global and more wider understanding from audiences will be received because of that, and it's happening.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, agreed. How did you create the family within the four of you? Did you go out and have dinner? Did you speak to the other actors who were playing the rich family at all, or did you keep a distance from each other until the shooting on the set?
Every day. 네, 저희는
Throughout
진짜
the entire
모두가
shooting process of 76 days, I feel like all the actors were always constantly
정말
together.
모두가
It wasn't about dividing into Kims and Parks, and but it felt more like on like a holiday, all the other extended family gather in a family, and you see your aunt's family, you see the in-laws.
너무 찍는 내내
That's how it felt, and it wasn't, and it just didn't. It was natural and didn't have to try anything to force it. But because we're constantly together, eating together, drinking together, and just spending time together, that it didn't feel like we had to force to do anything to build our bond, but just naturally happened by spending time together as a group.
Were you the leader of the whole group?
그 전체 그룹의 그러면 리더셨어요? 송배우님께서?
Like wherever song went, everyone else went?
그러니까
Or were
송배우님이
you-
가면 모두 다 따라갔나요? 가는 대로?
제가 따라갔죠.
No, I follow them.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it seems like Park would know everywhere to go. It seems like I looked at your Instagram. You're very busy, constantly doing stuff. I'm sure you knew where to take them and where to go.
아, 네, 그럼요. 저도
Yeah, this might not answer directly a question, but it still feels very unreal to the fact that I'm here in the studio in LA, in the States, having this interview. And even when I was in New York last week and now in LA, every day when I come back to my hotel room, it still didn't feel like I just had a day in New York or I just had a day in LA. So I would try to post as much as I can on Instagram just to visit different places, but also just look through all the photos that people have taken of us during our interview, which every picture that I scrolled through made it more real to me when I reviewed it at the end of the night. And also, I was also very curious to see how the audience in the States are receiving this film and what they're saying about it. So I do spend a lot of time on social media just to understand and how to connect with audiences.
You should pinch. It's real. It's real. It's real. Yes, it's real. Song, I want to ask you a question. You've worked with Bong Joon Ho now, as I said, with 4 films. Obviously you have a friendship with him and interactions with him. How much did the script change from when you first read it to what we see on the screen now? And did you offer any suggestions or changes for the overall script that came about?
He doesn't change from the script stage to actual shooting. Like there's not little change because he's very he calculates everything very minutely. So he doesn't. So he's unlike other directors. Yeah, I want to say.
So you no changes. I didn't offer any changes at all.
제안이라기보다는 봉 감독이
He discussed 2 very important scenes with me. One's climax. I cannot tell you what it is because there are people who haven't seen it. And then there's the one part that right before to get to the climax. So we discussed about what emotions should I develop to go there.
What was your biggest challenge here? There's a lot of physical stuff you go through.
그 신체적인
I don't want to give away too much, and I really do hope that the audience comes see the film and then we can talk about it later. But there is a scene where some of the characters are drenched in rain,
Yeah.
and we have to run through the streets, and there was a lot of water, and it was, and by a lot we mean a lot. And it was because as any of the wet scene go, it does get very cold, and it's very physical scene to go through, and it's even harder when you're running and you're soaked in water, and it just makes everything heavier. But it looks great, and I hope people see it, but it was a very hard scene to shoot.
Yeah, I can only imagine. When the film wrapped, did you each get a rock or no?
아 상수요.
It's really heavy. Even if I had been offered, I don't think.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I want to ask Park one last question here. What do you take from this movie? How has the movie, the experience here, changed you, not only as an actress but as a person, as a human being?
너무 많은 관심
I'm not
속에
sure how to phrase it, but it was more
책임감이
about the
좀
biggest
있는 것
difference from
배우로서
before and now is the responsibility
제가
that
정말
derived
좋아서
from
시작한
an
일이지만
overly
또 이렇게
abundant
많은 분들이
affection and
좋아해
interest
주시고
and love from everyone that
앞으로
has
또
now
더
seen me
좋은
in the
모습을
film.
보여드리고
As an actor, I do feel like the burden is heavier now because something that I started, this career is something I started because I truly enjoyed acting. And now I feel like I have this responsibility to always do better, to return the love and affection that our audience has been supporting and sending my way. But at the same time, I do believe that this film also has given me an amazing network of people that I met, amazing actors and staff and the people in the industry, and also audiences that the energy I get from them is something that I feed off from them will be enough for me to go forward and to meet the responsibility that I feel now.
Do either of you want to be in a Marvel superhero movie or DC superhero movie?
영화도
There are already plenty of young Korean actors who are already acting in these superhero movies. So I think I will defer these opportunities to younger generation.
Oh, good see. What about you, Park? I always say this. When I saw the movie, I thought immediately you should be doing these movies. You'd be great at
액션.
So she's great in action. She's a great action movie actor.
To be honest, in the beginning, the idea of working in Hollywood, idea of being part of Marvel or DC Comics films just felt very distant and very unreachable, so to speak, for the lack of a better word. But to be fully honest, the moment since I had arrived to the States and have met amazing people, all the audiences, and understanding the feedback and how amazing the film has been so far, I would be lying if I say I didn't have a thought about it, and it's slightly building up. But as you can see, I have a lot of English to study if you're more familiar.
One last question, and we got to wrap up. What do you want people to take from Parasite after they see it? What do you hope the film accomplishes?
그러니까 너무 이게
Well, the audience will certainly get cinematic fun, and then they can also think about the society itself. But I believe everybody will have different feelings in the end. But hopefully, what I really like is that these people the audience will still think about the movie even after they go home.
Anything?
We like to say that the less you know about the movie and watch it is better, and more you take away from it. So we really hope that the audiences don't look up anything, hopefully don't get any spoilers, and I preferably come to the theater in a more vulnerable state, so that you can truly enjoy what you see and what you feel. And afterward, this is one of those movies where you have a lot to talk to other people about, and we really hope that you are able to have better discussion and bigger conversations after you have seen the movie. So don't look up anything and please come to the theater.
Well, thank you so much, Park So-dam,
Yeah.
Song Kang-ho. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You need to learn English. I'm going to need to learn Korean.
Okay.
For the next time you come. So,
다음번에 또 오시면 한국말로 인터뷰해 보겠습니다.
yeah, please,
Thank you.
Yeah, please
Thank you very
go
much.
see Parasite. It's out in limited release now, but it's going to be rolling out in more and more theaters. Go see this thing. I'm telling you, this thing is the best picture. And don't go see it once. Go see it multiple times. You're going to get so much out of this movie from Bong Joon Ho. All right, this is John Roca for Collider. Thank you so much for watching this interview. We'll talk to you soon.